Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you guys my Vehicroid Yugioh deck profile for September 2017. This is a really awesome deck profile that I've been waiting for with the release of Legendary Duelists. I've always wanted to do a Vehicroid deck profile for you guys, and just this new support just really boosts up the deck's potential. So I thought, why not? Let's go ahead and give you the deck profile. So let's go ahead and get started. To start off, for your main monster, I run 3 Vehicroid. This is pretty much your best effect monster Vehicroid in the deck. I don't know if it's pronounced Vehicroid or Roid. I like the Vehicroid name for the deck, but I know a lot of people go for Roid as well. But its effect is you contribute 1 machine monster to special summon 1 non-win Roid monster from your deck. You can pay half your life points and banish any number of machine monsters from your graveyard, including this card, to special summon from your extra deck 1 Roid fusion monster with the same level in the number of banished monsters, ignoring its summoning conditions, then destroy it during the end phase. You can only use each effect of Vehicroid once per turn. So it has pretty good potential to get out a fusion monster that you might possibly need for, let's say, your bigger fusions in the deck, like Mobile Base, which is your main offensive and defensive monster to go into. And the Tribute to Special Summon effect can help get out some more important, basically Roid monsters, which we'll get to, which includes Express Roid, which we also run 3 of. When this card is summoned, you can target 2 Roid monsters in your graveyard, except for Express Roid. Add those targets to your hand, so you can recycle basically ones that you've already used their effects of, including Vehicroid if you didn't use the Banish effect off of him. And it's just a summon effect, so when he gets the special off of Vehicroid, you'll get that search as well, which is pretty good for, like I said, that recycling power. You can't go wrong there. And then you'll mostly just use him for your other additional summons with the deck. And also, I run 3 Ambulance Roid. This card, when a Roid monster is added from your graveyard to your hand, you can special summon that card. So, works really well with the Express Roid, just for the search. To search and special, swarming the field pretty fast with your monsters. So your main key play is to make sure you get that field set up with those monsters, and you'll get your basic effects off as well. Really good. Also trying out 1 Truckroid. Now the monster effect of this is when this monster destroys a monster your opponent controls by battle and sends it to the graveyard, equip it to this card. This card gains attack equal to the combined attack of the equipped cards. So pretty powerful hitter, as long as you can hit over. Like most of the time you want to go for something that's below its defense points obviously, and then hope to get something good. Also, what I like about it is it takes a monster away from your opponent's graveyard by equipping it to this card, so you can basically steal something that they might want to use later on for resources using this card. And even if you don't do it that method, the 2000 defense that you can just set on is also a good defense card that I just like the tech 1 of for those plays. And I also run 3 Speedroid Menko. I like the small Speedroid in the deck just for help. It is a Roid monster, so it does mix and match with a lot of the effects in the deck. He's a good hand trap as well for shield, like a Battle Fader kind of effect. When your opponent's monster declares a direct attack, while this card's in your hand, you can special it and then switch all your opponent's monsters to defense. Another good way you can make use of the Truckroid effect by switching them. If your opponent has a high attack point monster but low defense and then switches it to defense, swing it into it with Truckroid next turn and gain control of it. And I also run 2 Gold Gadget and 2 Silver Gadget. These cards help just for the machine swarming to the field, and then the special summon of each other also helps to keep consistency for monster field presence. But like I said, can't go wrong going into Silver Gadget and then special summoning another monster from your deck to the field with their own effects. And that is it for the monsters. A pretty low monster count, but our main focus with this deck is to get out your monsters from the fusion, from the extra deck. I was about to say fusion zone, the extra deck, and that relies a lot on the spell cards as well as those combos with the monsters. So moving on, I run 3 Megaroid City. This is your field spell for the Vehicroid deck. It's actually quite awesome that we got a field spell for the deck. One thing I didn't expect in the long run that we'd ever get for the deck, but still really cool. You can target 1 other card you control, destroy it, and if you do, add 1 Roid card from your deck to your hand. During damage calc, if your Roid monster battles, you can send 1 Roid monster from your deck to the graveyard to switch the original attack and defense of your battling monster, During the damage calculation, you can only use each effect of Megaroid City once per turn, and you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except for fusion monsters the turn you activate the effect of this card, even if this card leaves the field. So the switch effect is really good for your main ace monster from the extra deck, which is mobile base. Switching his attack to 5,000 can really go for the hit kills on those plays. You can also switch cards, like we were talking about earlier, like Truckroid, giving him a better boost of attack to get off his effect, or even Mixeroid, whose attack is 0 and defense is 2200. The switch just goes really well with all of those monsters, and all the Roids basically have a defense that is higher than their attack that you'll want to make use of. And also I run 3 Vehicroid Connection Zone. This card, you fusion summon 1 Vehicroid fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion materials, and if you do, it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, and its effect cannot be negated, my mistake. So it is a good protection card for your fusion plays, giving them that immunity to the cards that your opponent could otherwise prove troublesome to them, including spells and traps like Regeki and stuff like that. You can get your big Vehicroid monsters and not have to worry with this good spell card. The one negative thing about this spell is that it doesn't have the fusion in its name or anything like that, so it kind of lacks for search options, including like I said, Fusion Sage or something like that, like other fusion spell cards have. But I do also tech the 1 fusion substitute. I like this card just so you can recycle some of your fusions back into the extra deck for the extra draw with this card. And you have plenty of times where you have Roid monsters on the field, so it doesn't come up as a dead draw where you would have preferred to use them from the hand. Most of the time, you want them on the field anyway to get off their other effects. And also 2 machine duplication just for easy swarm machine type monsters with 500 or less attack, which includes Ambulance Roid, Express Roid, and Mixer Roid. Can't go wrong with that easy field swarm. And 1 soul charge just to get back resources to use as well. And also 1 limiter removal just for the power plays, especially with your big guy. You can go for your OTK attack right then and there if pulled off properly. And I also like 2 Twin Twisters, just back row can really hurt a lot of these plays if you don't get off your fusion with, let's say, the connection zone, and it's vulnerable. You want to make sure you can clear the way at least and take care of other pesky cards that could really screw up with your deck. And 2 terraforming. This is just for the search of the field spell, because the field spell can help with a lot of your plays. So you want to grab it as fast as you can into your hand. And also 2 instant fusion. Now, I didn't think this card would see much play after Norden got hit and the new format came around, but this card actually does help with a lot of plays because your target is basically Parapsychroid, which is a fusion Vehicroid monster, which helps because the requirements for your mobile base is 1 Roid fusion monster and 1 Roid monster, so getting the fusion monster already on the field and not even taking up your normal summon can be a big help there with this instant fusion play. And that is it for these spells. We will now move on to traps. Probably my favorite art card that we got from the new set is the Emergeroid Call, a really good trap card as well. When a spell or trap or monster effect is activated while you control a Roid fusion monster, negate the activation, then send all cards with the same name as that card from the player's deck and extra deck to the graveyard. You can banish this card from the graveyard to target 1 Roid monster in your graveyard, add to your hand. You can only use this effect of Emergeroid Called once per turn. The negation effect is incredible because you'll get rid of other resources that your opponent was hoping to rely on, including from the extra deck, which I find cool, so it kind of gets rid of the pendulum cards also. And the search back card from the graveyard just helps because we're seeing a kind of format where there are a lot of cards that just go off of effects in the graveyard, so you want to make use of that, having resources in the graveyard to go off of, which is why this and Mixeroid just helps so much with the deck. And also 2 Supercharge. When your opponent declares an attack while the only monsters you control are machine type Roid monsters, draw 2 cards. Pretty simple there with the draw 2. Just resources back into the hand. And 1 Solemn Warning to wrap up the main deck with the 40 cards. Now, if you wanted to switch the basic gold gadget and silver gadgets to a more like Roid based kind of deck. You can play Triad, Dice, Terror Top, those kind of cards. They are Roids, they'll get their searches off. It's basically the type of play you just want to try back and forth. See which one you like better. Do you like the Gadget Swarm with Exceed play, or do you like the Roid Search? Once again, it's all preference of the player, just what works better for you. Now moving on to the extra deck. I do want to run 3 mobile base. Sadly only have 1 at the moment, so the extra deck will be a little short of cards, but like I said, I'll fill in the gaps for that. That includes also the Super Vehicroid that we do not have, which is incredibly hard to get one. I don't have it, and I'm hoping to get one soon. Just the big fusion Optimus Prime one, if you remember the name. Be sure to comment it down below. I know it's a long one, but he's also really cool just to run the deck for options. But Mobile Base has a move effect, so you can move him out of your extra deck zone as well, and he's just all around powerful, and the effect is just too good to not make use of, and he's very easy to get out. For his stats being what they are and being able to be swapped with stuff like the field spell, you make full use of this card, and that's why he's a key card play in your deck. And I also want to run 2 Jumbo Drill as well. Now, you don't have the normal fusion requirements for this card, but you can get it out with Mixeroid just by banishing it, and another level 4 monster for that fusion play. And as I said before, the 2 pair Psychroids, this card just, way too good. You just need 2 machine type monsters with the same name to fusion it normally, but it's like I said, most of the time you'll go for the instant fusion target to get this card out, so you can have the fusion on the field for your other fusion requirements. And the other effect is it can attack your opponent directly, which is pretty cool as well, just for that direct hit that sometimes might be the game win if you were to go into this card fusion summon normally. And for the rest of the deck, I run 1 Gear Gigan X just for the machine plays, obviously. 1 Lightning Chidori. You run plenty of wind-type monsters with Mixeroid and Menko to make this card a potential go into as well. Daigusto and Morale just for more recycling. And Dark Rebellion, Castel, and Abyss Dweller. And lastly, I would run 2 Mrs. Radiant as well. If not 2 of these, at least 1 Mrs. Radiant and 1 Firewall Dragon as well. No clue where I put my Firewall Dragon, hoping to find it after this video. But yeah, that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Once again, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And until next time, Kira Twig out.